Today I want to talk about something that many of us have felt, but perhaps we haven't fully understood. Isolation. Do you know that feeling of being alone? Of feeling like no one else understands what you are going through? That's right. This may be more than just a phase. It could be a sign from the universe. Something big is being prepared for you. So, if you have ever felt this way or are going through it now, stay with me, because today we are going to dive deep into this topic. And of course, before we start, go ahead and leave a like down below. This really helps the channel and shows that you are enjoying the content. Shall we? We are going to explore a theme that touches many hearts: isolation, but not just any kind of isolation. I'm talking about that isolation that feels like the universe has placed in your life for a reason. Let's understand together the importance of this isolation and how it can be a fundamental part of our spiritual growth and self-discovery. Let's talk about how isolation offers us an incredible opportunity for self-reflection and transformation. It is at this moment that we are able to connect more deeply with who we truly are, reflect on our lives, and often realize that we need to change certain paths or reinforce certain beliefs. We will also discuss how the universe guides us through subtle signs, those invisible touches that show us we are on the right path. These synchronicities, these coincidences that are too good to be mere accidents, are important messages that we need to learn to recognize. And there's more. Embracing isolation as an opportunity for spiritual growth is essential. It is important to see this period not as a punishment, but as a blessing. Of course, it's not easy, and that's where the challenges come in. Let's talk about how to deal with loneliness, self-doubt, and what to do when these feelings arise. Remember, you are never truly alone. There is an invisible community of the chosen who are going through similar journeys. And finally, let's understand the importance of accepting this journey. Because every step, even in solitude, is an important step towards fulfilling your unique destiny. So prepare your heart and mind, because today's video is going to be deep and full of insights. If you haven't liked it yet, take the opportunity now to subscribe to the channel. Let's embark on this journey together. Isolation can often seem like a challenging and lonely period, but it is important to understand that it carries a much deeper purpose than it appears at first glance. When we talk about the importance of isolation, we are referring to an essential moment in the spiritual journey of any person. It is a period where the universe calls us for a necessary pause, a pause that allows us to look inward and reflect on who we really are and what we want from life. Imagine isolation as a powerful tool for growth. When we are surrounded by the constant noise of the world, whether it's the clamor of social media, the hustle and bustle of daily life, or even the expectations and opinions of others, it becomes very difficult to hear our own inner voice. In this context, isolation becomes a unique opportunity to disconnect from external distractions and instead connect with your inner self. During isolation, you have the opportunity to step away from everything superficial and dive into the depths of your being. It is a moment when the universe grants you the necessary space to reflect on your choices, understand your true desires, and above all, discover your purpose. It's as if the universe is saying, hey, this is your moment. Make the most of it. This period of withdrawal is crucial for spiritual development. It is when you can allow yourself to ask important questions. Am I on the right path? What truly makes me happy? What are my dreams that I have not yet fulfilled? These deep reflections often only occur when we have the time and solitude necessary to listen to ourselves. That is why isolation is not an accident or a mistake of fate. It is an essential part of the greater plan that the universe has for each of us. Self-reflection and transformation are two fundamental aspects that go hand in hand in the process of isolation. When we allow ourselves the experience of isolation, we enter a space where we can truly dedicate ourselves to understanding ourselves on a deeper level. This is a moment of introspection, where we look inward and examine our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with a more careful and conscious lens. Self-reflection is a process of turning our gaze inward, questioning our behaviors, our patterns, and the motivations that guide our actions. It is an invitation to explore the depths of our being, and often this means facing parts of ourselves that we have avoided for a long time. When we are in isolation, we are forced to stop fleeing from these parts and instead confront them head-on. And it is precisely in this vulnerability that the magic of transformation begins to happen. Transformation is not just a superficial change. It is a deep process that occurs from the inside out. When we engage in self-reflection, we begin to notice old patterns that may no longer be serving us. They can be limiting beliefs that we have carried since childhood, habits that we repeat without realizing, or even feelings of fear and insecurity that prevent us from moving forward. Self-reflection allows us to identify these areas and begin working on them, thus initiating an authentic and lasting transformation process. This process can be uncomfortable because it requires us to be honest with ourselves, to acknowledge our flaws and imperfections without judgment, only with the intention of understanding and eventually transcending these limitations. And it is here that isolation proves to be an essential tool. Without the distractions of the outside world, we have the time and space needed to truly delve into our journey of self-discovery. During self-reflection, you may encounter repressed emotions or painful memories that need to be healed, and by doing so, you begin to clear the ground for the new. It's like preparing the soil before planting new seeds. Transformation is the act of planting these new seeds, new ways of thinking, new attitudes, and new ways of relating to oneself and to others. The guidance of the universe is a fascinating and profound concept that invites us to believe that we are not alone on this journey of life. We often feel lost or directionless, especially during periods of isolation or personal challenges. However, the universe is always communicating with us, guiding us through subtle signs and messages that are constantly around us. These signs are like a gentle whisper, which, when we learn to listen, shows us that we are exactly where we should be. To understand the guidance of the universe, we first need to be open and willing to receive that guidance. The universe speaks to us in ways that are not always obvious. It can be through an unexpected encounter with someone who tells us exactly what we need to hear, or perhaps through a book that appears at the right moment and contains the words we needed to read. It can be a feeling of intuition, a premonition, or a moment of clarity that arises out of nowhere. These are signs that the universe is trying to guide us, and it is crucial to be present in order to perceive them. Being present is more than just being physically in a place. It is about being fully engaged in the moment, with all senses awakened and an open mind. When we are truly present, we begin to notice the small things that previously went unnoticed. A conversation we overhear by chance may contain the answer to a question we have been asking ourselves. A song playing on the radio can bring to the surface an emotion that we need to process. It is in these small, yet significant experiences that the universe reveals its guidance. Synchronicities and subtle signs are some of the most fascinating ways in which the universe communicates with us. They are like small coded messages that appear on our path, often unexpectedly, to show us that we are exactly where we need to be. When we learn to recognize and value these moments, we begin to realize that the universe is constantly guiding us, supporting us, and offering us clues about our path and life purpose. Synchronicities are those coincidences that seem too perfect to be merely the work of chance. It's when you think of a friend you haven't seen in years and suddenly they call you, or when you are facing a dilemma and at that exact moment you hear someone say exactly what you needed to hear. These experiences may seem like mere coincidences, but in fact, they are the universe showing us that we are in sync with the flow of life. It is a form of reaffirmation, a sign that we are aligned with our greater purpose. These moments of synchronicity are like points of light on a map that help us navigate the path of our lives. When we start to notice these significant coincidences, we are invited to reflect on what they mean. What is the universe trying to tell us? What is the hidden message in these chance encounters or seemingly random events? The beauty of synchronicities lies in the fact that they encourage us to become more aware and to live with greater intention. When we are attentive to these signs, we begin to live in a way that is more connected and aligned with the universal flow. The subtle signs, on the other hand, are more delicate messages that the universe sends us. They can be found in small things, like a phrase that catches our attention in a book, a song that plays at the right moment, or even a butterfly that crosses our path when we are thinking about an important decision. These subtle signs are ways in which the universe reminds us that we are being guided and supported, even when things seem uncertain or challenging. Embracing isolation may seem at first glance a challenging or even frightening concept. After all, how can we see something positive in a period when we feel separated from the world, distant from friends, family, and the activities that keep us busy? However, it is precisely in this space of solitude that a powerful opportunity for spiritual growth is found. When we talk about embracing isolation, we are referring to seeing this moment as a gift, a unique opportunity to reconnect with ourselves and with the divine. When we find ourselves in isolation, whether voluntary or imposed by external circumstances, we are forced to slow down. Without the constant distractions of everyday life, we begin to hear our inner voice more clearly. This is the moment when we have the chance to look inward, to confront our own thoughts and feelings without the interference of external influences. The quietude of isolation creates a safe space for introspection, a place where we can truly examine who we are, what we want, and more importantly, what we need to leave behind in order to grow. By embracing isolation, we begin to understand that this period is not a punishment or a mistake, but rather a necessary phase in our spiritual journey. It gives us the opportunity to break away from old patterns, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to begin cultivating new ways of being that are more aligned with our higher purpose. It is a moment of purification where we can release fears, insecurities, and doubts, and make room for transformation and rebirth. During isolation, many find a deep sense of peace and clarity that they have never experienced before. This peace comes from inner silence, a state of calm and acceptance that can only be achieved when we allow ourselves to stop and be present. In this silence, we are able to connect with the divine in a deeper and more authentic way. We begin to notice the presence of the universe in everything around us, in the chirping of birds, in the gentle breeze, in the sunlight that streams through the window. This connection reminds us that although we may be physically alone, we are never truly alone. The challenges of isolation are many, and in many cases can be quite intense. When we think of isolation, we often associate this experience with feelings of loneliness and separation, which can generate fear and discomfort. However, it is important to remember that these challenges are not just barriers to be overcome. They are opportunities for growth and transformation. By understanding and facing these challenges, we can emerge from isolation stronger, wiser, and more connected to our spiritual purpose. One of the first challenges that many face during isolation is loneliness. Feeling isolated from the world, without the constant presence of friends and family, can create a deep sense of abandonment and emptiness. Loneliness can sometimes feel unbearable, especially if we are used to the comfort and company of others to distract us from our own thoughts. However, it is precisely in this space of solitude that we are invited to reconnect with ourselves. Facing loneliness means learning to find comfort in our own company, to develop a relationship of love and acceptance with ourselves. It is an invitation to discover that even when we are physically alone, we are never truly alone, as the universe is always with us. The connection with other chosen ones is a powerful and transformative aspect of the spiritual journey, especially during periods of isolation. When we talk about the chosen ones, we are referring to those people who, like you, feel a deeper calling to seek answers beyond the material world, to connect with something greater, and to find the true purpose of their existence. This connection with other chosen ones is not only comforting, but also essential for our spiritual growth and development. During isolation, it is easy to feel that we are going through all of this alone. Loneliness can be overwhelming, and we may start to believe that no one else understands what we are facing. However, it is precisely in these moments of isolation that the connection with other chosen ones becomes more significant. Knowing that there are others on similar journeys who are also seeking answers, facing internal challenges, and striving to connect more deeply with the divine can bring a sense of solidarity and comfort that is profoundly healing. These connections are not merely accidental. They are synchronized by the universe. When you begin to open your heart and mind to your spiritual path, the universe often places other people who are on the same level of seeking and understanding in your way. These connections are not superficial. They are based on a deep mutual understanding of challenges, fears, hopes, and dreams. They are, in essence, a gathering of souls that recognize themselves as part of a greater and more spiritual path. Ultimately, these connections help us cultivate a sense of humility and gratitude. When we see others on their own spiritual journeys, facing their own challenges and making their own discoveries, we are reminded that we are all learning and growing, each in our own way. This perspective encourages us to be more compassionate, both with myself and with others. and to value the lessons that life offers us each day. So, did you like the video? Let me know in the comments what you found most interesting about this idea that isolation is not a coincidence, but rather an essential part of the plan of the universe for the chosen ones. I love to know your opinion. And of course, thank you very much for watching until now. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to share this video with your friends. Who knows, they might also need to understand a little more about this journey. And before you go, there's another really cool video waiting for you on the final screen. Take a look and continue this journey with us. See you next time, everyone.